at our exam review. I'm going to go over the first half today, and just like I said, the second half on Monday. Okay, so I'm going to go over the answers, and then if you guys want me to do the problems, any of the problems, I will do those. Okay, number 1 is 6 and negative 6. Number 1 is, A is 6 and negative 6. B is 0 and 2. B is 0 and 2. You had to solve for x, remember? C is 0, 7, and negative 1. 0, 7, and negative 1. D is 1/3 and negative 3/2. D is 1/3 and negative 3/2. E is x equals 3 and x equals negative 4. X equals 3 and x equals negative 4. F is x equals 1/4 and x equals negative 1/4. It doesn't look like I finished G or H, so let's do those together. Okay, so I subtracted 18 from both sides, and then I'm going to factor this out. I need the inner side to be negative 2 and the out to be negative 9. So I don't believe this is factorable because there are not, the only things that multiply to give us 9 are 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. So I think we have to, why I stopped here, is I think we have to leave it like this because I don't believe it's factorable from this point. H, I believe, is the same way. You have to stop here because it is not factorable from this point. X times x squared minus 3x plus 6 equals 18. Okay. All right, let's turn it over. Is there any other questions on this first page? I can do one of these problems if you want. A through H. Anyone you had a hard time with, want me to do? Felt pretty good on that first page? Good. Just factoring. All right. Second page we're looking at. A reminder, you do not have to do the back of the first page. That was a copying error. So we're on power, roots, and radicals. A is 1 over negative 3 to the 4th, or 1 over 81. And I believe, yeah. Letter B ends up being 1/2 because x to the 0 power is 1. C is 12 x to the 5th. D ends up being 4 b to the 4th, a to the 6th. E is 36 y to the 8th over x. F is 5b to the 6th over 2. A, for solving the radicals or rational exponent equations, x equals 32. B is x equals 4.2. C is x equals 4 or negative 4. D is x equals 43,046,723. E is negative 2. And F is 64. Was there any on this page you would like me to go over? Anything in more detail? Okay. Let's go ahead and move to the next page. Again, the back of this page you did not have to do. And we're moving on to perform the indicated operations with a function given. A is x squared plus 2x plus 6. B is x squared minus 9x plus 4. C is 30x squared plus 12x. D is 2. E is 1. F is 8. 9 is 5x to the 3rd minus 13x squared plus 14x plus 8. H is 6x to the 3rd minus 18x squared plus 24x. Number I is 14. J is negative 3,108. Number K ends up being 30x squared minus 90x plus 121. And I ends up being 872. 872. Okay, questions about this page before we move on? Any questions about this page? Okay, so the back of this page is all about inverse. Okay, so let's do one of those together just to remember how to do it. So if we want to do f of x equals 2x plus 5, remember the inverse is to make this x and this y. We switch the x's and the y's. And then we want to get all the y all by itself. So that means we subtract 5 from both sides. We get x minus 5 equals 2y. And then we divide both sides by 2. This gives us x minus 5 over 2 equals y. Okay. I'm in the middle of recording a lesson, gentlemen, so if you could be quiet as you walk in. Thank you. Okay, so this is where we switch our x and y and then solve for y to be able to do it. Right down here, we're looking at graphing. Okay, why don't I look at B? We want to see if this is the inverse of the other. So we simply change where x and y is. Solve for y, we subtract 1 from both sides. X minus 1 equals 1/2 y. Times both sides by 2. And we get 2x minus 2 equals y. So they are inverses. That's our inverse check. And then we want to graph both of those. So if I'm going to graph this one in purple, I'm going to start at -2. And then you just go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Or down 2 over 1, right? And this is our line. And then for the other one, we're at 1/2 plus 1, so we start at 1. And then we go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, or down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And this is our line. So if you look right between there, like at y equals x, it's where they're reflected on each other. So they're just opposites. Okay? Yeah, I will keep that up for a second. And then we can turn to the next page and make sure we know how to do this. This trig stuff is the most recent, though it's the stuff that the most students struggled on the most. So we want to make sure we've got that. Okay? All right. So we're right here. Remember that 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're all dealing with SOHCAHTOA, guys. So it's just sine, cosine, and tangent. So for example, number 1, remember this is the angle I'm dealing with. So this is the opposite, and this is the hypotenuse. So I'm just going to go sine 35 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Remember, if you have an x on the bottom, you just switch places. So it's x equals 6 sine 35. And then you just stick that in your calculator. So you go 6 divided by trig sine 35. And we get x equals 10.5 or 10.46. Okay? All right. For this one, we're going to write an equation. Remember the thing for equation, it's up on the board. And I do have it on your, because I have a formula sheet for you guys for your exam. You get y equals, this is sine, I believe. That makes sense to me. This is cosine. So it's ya cosine b to the x plus c. Remember, a is the amplitude. You know, b tells you the period. And c tells you like how much it's moved. Oh, yeah. How far over it goes. Okay? So you should be good there. The next page is just more of the same, figuring out what they are. Okay? All right, so the rest of this review is due on Monday. Okay. You can make sure you look at the, I'll put up the answer key, so then you'll have it, okay? Okay.